Everybody, in keeping with our theme for today of everything just kind of being generic, I'm going to show you two more assembly systems and how they kind of work. I'm going to show you floors, generic floors, just how do you build a floor, and then how do you build a stair, and then how do you build a roof, right? So simple things. But this one is just going to be floors, I think. We're going to get into plan view for this one. So the way that a lot of elements work in Revit. Okay, so this is your first time building a profile-based family. Okay, a floor is really nothing more than the extents of a profile of like a pad, right? If you pour concrete, you're going to put like, 2x8s or whatever around the whole perimeter of it, and then you're just going to pour the concrete and it'll go flat like a pancake. So really what we're doing is we're drawing the boundary of where the floor is. Duh. So anyway, let's go to architecture and let's go to floor. So just click on floor, generic floor, right? Oh, by the way, one thing Revit kind of does really well is they remind you to save your file, which I usually give at the beginning of lecture, like a huge lecture to all of you about saving your file, and I've done a terrible job of doing that myself. So this is a really good reminder to save our files. So let's do that. I'm going to save mine. My computer. I'll save my working file in our class folder, but you guys should save your working file in your private folder or email it to your, save it in your private folder now, and then at the end of the day, if you're going to go back into it at home over the weekend, send it to yourself or put it in your Google Drive or something like that. All right, so I'm going to put it in our class folder. Okay, Grenling. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to say week 1, sample. Okay, there probably will only be my project in week 1 sample. So let's call this sample. I'm just going to call it sample building. I was going to try and get creative, but it didn't come to me fast enough. All right. So after saving that, it allowed me to get back into that command. By the way, you don't have to save it every time it reminds you to save. Okay, you could just hit that little X and it won't close your file. But I, just want to warn you, don't hit the close my, don't worry about it. Just hit the X and you can keep going. So now we're in the modify, create floor boundary menu, right? So I activated the floor command, and I need to kind of do a few things. So I'm going to keep this really simple. I'm just going to draw the boundary. And for this case, I'm going to have the extents of my slab actually go all the way out to the outside edge of the building. So since we're using generic forms in real construction, let's go with the type 5 wood construction, right? What you're going to usually have is like a slab edge that looks like this, right? That's concrete. Fancy concrete. And then you're going to have your stud, sill plate, and then you're going to have like the studs go up from there. And then your exterior sheathing is going to come down outside of that, right? And then your grade will be like there or something like that, okay? So that level of detail frequently is modeled into Revit. Like what you see in your plan is this to this, but you're actually going to align it to the inside edge. In this case, since we're working with generic models, we're going to take that slab. It's going to look just like a straight slab like that, and we're just going to take our mass right down to the edge. Okay, does that make sense? All right. So really, all you have to do, and this is so easy because the object snaps in Revit are pretty darn good. Just click the little line button up there. That's the top left one for line. See that? And then just trace around the outside. And then when you're done, hit check, and it'll go there. Okay. Now looking at it in 3D. Let's see over here. There's your floor. Pretty simple and cool, right? So that's kind of like one level, but I also, well, let me just stop this video. I'll go into the next one.